Oh, this story is amazing, but I tell you what, from the first episode, I am hooked already. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another unboxing video here on my channel. In today's video, we have just one relatively small parcel to open. But having said that, I am very excited about finding out what is in this parcel, because what is in this parcel, I'm actually beginning to really fall in love with. What could it be? Let's take a look. Okay, so I've pretty much decimated this parcel. But never mind. So the first thing inside is just a free copy of the Vortex magazine, which is a Big Finish, spoilers, a Big Finish magazine of what's coming up and what not. So having said the words Big Finish, you've probably guessed what I have just gone ahead and purchased. So I will run through what I have purchased to add to the Big Finish collection of mine, and it's something that I'm really beginning to fall in love with. After I've shown you what I've purchased, I will then go through very briefly the stories that I've now listened to and just give you a kind of very quick rundown of what I think of the stories and if I would recommend them or not. So, going back to what's in the parcel, we have this one here called The Trouble with Drax. And then we have another one here called The Eternal Battle, and this one features the Sontarans. Of course, Drax is from the Armageddon Factor. All these stories, I believe, are Tom Baker stories because Big Finish were running a 40% discount, which I thought was really, really good. This one is The Wave of Destruction, which I've actually got on LP, which is kind of cool. So I've got a record of that one. We've got Return to Telos, which is just going to be epic, I would imagine, from the story, from the title of the story. We've got the Betrayal, sorry, of the White Worm, which obviously includes the Master up there. And then we've got Zygon Hunt, which is another one I actually have an LP of, which is kind of miraculous because that's the only two Doctor Who LPs that I own at the moment. Then there's this one here, The Evil One, featuring Louise Jameson. We got The King of Sontar, another Sontaran story there to look forward to. We have Energy of the Daleks, which is a funny one because I did a Doctor Who animation many years ago called The Energy of the Daleks. So, Nicholas Briggs, Big Finish, copyright. I'll let you off, how about that? And we've got this one here called The Final Phase, which also includes the Daleks. And we've also got this one here, The Dalek Contract, and I'll get back to that one in a second because I've started listening to this one already on the free download that Big Finish very kindly offer and give to you when you buy CDs off their website. This one here is called The Exelons, which is sounding like it's going to be an excellent story. Destination Nerva, another good story there I expect. I do judge books by the cover, as you can probably tell. The Justice of Jauxal, can't pronounce that one very well, but there we go. It's Jago and Lightfoot in that one with Mary Tam, who played the very first Romana. And finally, we have a story, The Poseidon Adventure, featuring none other than the Crows themselves, from one of my favourite Tom Baker stories, The Android Invasion. So, they are the Big Finish CDs I have just bought. I know this isn't the biggest kind of bundle of CDs that you've seen me open on this channel, but it was still quite expensive. I think each CD was around about £5 after the discount, maybe £6, so yeah, it adds up, it does add up. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I've really started to fall in love with Big Finish, which is really kind of cool because at the moment there's no Doctor Who on TV and, you know, I need new Doctor Who substances to listen to and watch, so this is what I've been doing. So in a previous video, thank you for watching it if you already have, I kind of did a very quick short review of the first 3 Big Finish CDs or stories that I've ever listened to, and they were The Juggernauts, Red Dawn and Emissary of the Daleks. Now I've already given you kind of my opinions on those, but I will add those 3 stories into this little review series just for, you know, for the sake of it. So the very first story, The Juggernauts, fantastic story because it features, spoilers, it features the mechanoids, which I think is a really good idea, and it does also have Davros in it as well. Being that it was the very first story I ever listened to, I think it's going to be a story that always sticks in my head because I was kind of so like, am I going to enjoy Big Finish? Is it going to be for me? For so many years I've had these CDs and never listened to them because I just find it very hard to kind of listen to anything without watching it as well. So I'm really glad I've been able to kind of get on and do that. So with the Juggernauts, I really recommend giving that a listen if you haven't already listened to that one. I am going to put these CDs down before I drop them. Second story I chose to listen to was a story called Red Dawn, and that features the Ice Warriors. And I should say that the Juggernauts was the 6th Doctor and Mel. Red Dawn was the 5th Doctor and Perry. So I jumped in on a 6th Doctor with Dalek story. I wanted to kind of have something that I'm familiar with, so Daleks, and then Red Dawn I'm familiar because it has the Ice Warriors in it. And it was actually a really good story. I enjoyed it. It was quite a simple story, and that's quite a good thing, I think, sometimes, because it just allows you to kind of sit back, relax and enjoy it really easily. The third story I listened to was Emissary of the Daleks, which goes back to the 6th Doctor again, and of course features the Daleks, and it was a new release at the time, going back a few months now, and I just loved the cover art and thought, you know what, I'll give that one a listen. Paid full price for it and was really blown away. It was fantastic. You can kind of tell the difference, I think, between the older audios and the newer audios. There's more sound effects and, I don't know, maybe the acting, I wouldn't say it's better, it's just kind of different. They're more established. So Emissary of the Daleks was a fantastic story. I won't go through the plots of these stories because I don't really want to ruin that for you guys. I just want to kind of give you my very brief opinion on what I think of the stories. So the fourth story that I've now listened to is the Kingdom of Silver, which is the 7th Doctor. So the first time I've ever listened to the 7th Doctor on audio. No companion per se, I think he kind of finds people along the way. Kingdom of Silver, as you may have guessed, features the Cybermen, and it was a funny old story in a way because I kind of found it a bit difficult to listen to. I felt like I switched off a few times throughout the story, but then kind of got back into it, had to rewind it a few times to kind of understand fully what was going on. Whether I was just not in the right mind space, I don't know. But out of the 4 stories I've just mentioned, I would say that Kingdom of Silver was probably the weakest story I've listened to. But then we get on to the next one, which was Brotherhood of the Daleks. Now, it was an absolute, like, head fuck, excuse the French there. Like, it was a really good idea for a story. It was just so damn confusing, and listening to the kind of special features after the audio, they were like, yeah, even we were confused as actors. You may need to go and listen to this story several times, and I completely agree. I think the idea of it is quite fascinating and fantastic. I really feel like I need to go back to that perhaps in a few weeks or months to re-immerse myself in that story. But if you haven't listened to that story, I do recommend it to kind of see what you think. So the next story that I've now listened to was Return of the Crotons, which is a story I actually really enjoyed. Some of the reviews online are a bit kind of, you know, a bit negative towards that story. A lot of people say, oh, it's just kind of fan service, you know, bring back any old monster, oh, Crotons, yeah, that'll do. Well, I'm a fan and I like that sort of thing, and I actually really quite enjoyed watching it, and it actually made me want to go back and listen or watch the Crotons again. So that's something I'm probably going to do this evening. So Return of the Crotons, really good story. I've rated that story a lot. And now finally, this is my 7th audio now, I've just started listening to the Dalek Contract. And I tell you what, this is the first time I've listened to any Tom Baker 4th Doctor audios. I'm yet to listen, obviously, from any 1st, 2nd or 3rd Doctors, so I'll get to those in a future video. But the 4th Doctor, and it's with Mary Tamm, who plays Romana, and this is literally like, I've only listened to the 1st episode so far, but when listening to it, I was immediately taken back to like the Key to Time, and it's like that era, the music, the acting, and it's just amazing. So I'm yet to kind of find out what happens, so I can't give it a, 100%, oh, this story is amazing, but I tell you what, from the 1st episode, I am hooked already. So I really recommend the Dalek Contract being a story that you listen to if you haven't already listened to this one. So yeah, that's my kind of wrap up of the first 7 Big Finish audios that I have now listened to, albeit this one isn't quite finished yet. And I am thoroughly enjoying it, and the idea that there are just literally hundreds of these stories out there has given me like a real positive feeling inside, because I love Doctor Who, and to me this is kind of classic Doctor Who that I'm discovering now, and it's amazing. So I recommend the stories that I've already listened to. If you have any stories that you've listened to and you'd like to recommend them to me, then please do pop them down in the comments and I'll be sure to listen to them, assuming I've got them. And I will see you all again very soon in another video. Until then, take care, thanks for watching, goodbye for now. Daleks.